You can welcome everybody.
Okay, sorry about that. We want to welcome everyone today. This is the fifth meeting of the Board of Mahoning County Commissioners, and a very cold morning at that.
10 degrees.
10 degrees. Today is Thursday, February 4th at 10:01 a.m. And with that, I will ask for a motion to approve previous minutes of board meeting number 4 and approval of bills for payment.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Moving on, journal entry number 1.
Approval of administrative entries and inter-fund obligations, administrative journal entries. A motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Travels, we have 1. Letter A, recycling, Lou Vega.
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you? Number A, letter A is going to be for various travels throughout the state of Ohio for work group meetings, continuing education, estimated about 3,500, and that's assuming that things get back to relative normalcy for 2021.
A motion to approve travels A.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Agreements, we have letters A through L, and we will begin with the auditors.
Stacy?
Stacy,
Morning, Commissioners.
good morning.
Letter A is agreement with Manatron for the license of our cost data for our CAMA program, if that is non-general funds. And letter B is the agreement with the Auditor of State for our fiscal year 2020 audit in the amount of $136,079, and that is general fund money.
Okay, thank you. Convention and Visitors Bureau, Linda. Linda McCullough.
Good morning. Couldn't unmute there for a minute. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
There you are.
There's something.
Letter C is an agreement with Getaways on Display for literature distribution throughout the service plazas on the Pennsylvania Turnpike at selected high traffic volume plazas. Believe it or not, people are still picking up literature. They're dreaming, they're planning, someday I'd like to travel again and plan a weekend. So we want to continue that contract. And letter D is an agreement for advertising in Country Living magazines, which we normally do get a nice return reader response on that, people requesting information.
Thank you very much. Data, Jake. There he is.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Agreements E and F are for essentially renewals for labor contracts for our data, cabling, some camera work, telephone support with a couple local vendors, TSI and 21st Century. I know the data board agrees on this and typically try to stay with local vendors when it makes sense. So thank you.
Thank you, Jake. Engineers, Pat Giannetti.
Good morning, everybody. Letter G is an agreement with Meridian Healthcare for the 2021 drug testing services. The estimated amount is $2,200, non-general funds. Letter H is an agreement with Davey Tree for tree cutting and trimming services as needed. The estimated amount here is $15,000, also non-general funds. Letter I is an agreement with Superior Auto Body. This is for the purchase and installation of front and rear strobe lights for 3 of the vehicles that were recently purchased in the estimated amount of $2,100, non-general funds. Letter J is modification number 1 with MS Consultants. This is for the Western Reserve Road Phase 1 widening project in the amount of $13,519. This is non-general funds, and this is the section that is going to be widened between Hitchcock and Market Street. I'll move right into sanitary if you don't mind.
Go right ahead, Pat.
Okay. Letter K, this is an agreement with the following to provide machinist or fabrication work and repairs on various motors and pumps general emergency repairs at various locations throughout the county for 2 years. We have Hendricks Electric Shop, $25,000 per year. City Machine Technologies at $7,500 per year, and Pump Systems LLC at $7,500 per year. These are all non-general funds. Then letter L is an agreement with Iron Eagle Enterprises for the removal of spent sand and solid mixture from the Damascus and Deal Lake wastewater plants. The sand acts as a filter in the treatment of waste. The estimated amount here is $10,000, and this is also non-general funds.
Thank you, Pat. You got a lot going on there, buddy.
Yeah.
Very busy. All right, motion to approve agreements, letters A through L.
A motion to approve number 3, agreements A through L.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Change orders for A, Jim Fortunato. Morning,
Good
Jim.
morning, everyone. Basically, there's 3 types of change orders: errors and mission, unforeseen, and owner's request. As we progressed in refurbishing the desk, we took a look and said it would be more of a better design if we modified the baseboard and replaced the chair rail. So this is us as owners making a change for it being more apparent, better, and functional.
Very good, and we're very pleased with the work. Okay, motion to approve change orders for A.
Motion to approve change orders 4A.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Resolutions, number 1.
Motion to approve resolutions number 1, additions.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Moving on, resolutions, letters A through E, and we'll begin with letter A. Audrey.
Commissioners, this is a resolution to transfer funds from the general fund to the Mahoning County Hazmat Fund in the amount of $75,000. This was in support of a truck that they purchased last year that carries their equipment. The other truck was no longer used.
And Audrey, would you do letter B?
Yes. Commissioners, this is a resolution to provide addendum and expenditures with the following agencies to assist with the COVID-19 public health and funded by the CARES Act in the following amounts. This is for the Mahoning County Board of Health. This was to help with a lighting project that they had at one of the clinics.
Thank you. And letter C, I'll read that one. This is a resolution approving the emergency rental assistant agreements with the following. Youngstown Women's Christian Association, which is $107,000. And Catholic Charities Regional Agency for $1.5 million. And Audrey, correct me if I'm wrong, this is from the CARES Act funds. This is about money that came from about a $6 million appropriation that we received for rental assistance and utilities for our community. Is that correct?
Yes, this is the additional money that came out this year that was awarded in December. The funds came in. It is only for rental assistance for residential properties. The amount that the commissioners are going to allocate up to $10,000 per residential house. Catholic Charities worked with us last year on when we did the rental assistance program. They did a very good job, and it's a good way of coordinating it so you don't have duplication of effort between. Last year, they did work with MyCap in that program, which they have the ability to do that also this year. And as the funds needed, we have additional that we would put in as it goes, the way the resolution would do. So we start, this is what they wanted to start with, and then they'll give us gauge with it. Before
Are we using any of the local banks for this? Or are we just going to go through?
Catholic Charities does work
is
with the
gonna
banks
do
and
that?
everybody, yes.
Okay.
That way there's that
Alright.
coordination. And then we'll see how that goes, and then we can always reevaluate and see how things work there. I'm gonna have Anna speak a little bit on it, and especially in regards to the Young Women's Christian Association program. That's one of her passions she brought forward to the commissioners, and I
Thank
kind of
you,
support
Anna.
her in it.
Thank you, Anna.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, this money from the U.S. Treasury for emergency rental assistance was rather unexpected. As you know, we only had a 2-day turnaround time to accept these funds. and agreed to implement the program. And with our past history with Catholic Charities, of course, it was a success under CARES Act. They were able to assist approximately distribute $1.5 million last year. And they have a waiting list at Catholic Charities, people calling back from who may have received money previously or have just recently hit a hard spot. So they're more than prepared to distribute that 1.5 and as it progresses. The YWCA, I'm really excited about this. As the commissioners know, we try to assist the YWCA with this population of pregnant women that are unstably housed with the CDBG coronavirus supplemental, and it was not accepted as a viable project. So this funding had less parameters, although still restrictive, will meet their population. They intend to help in between 10 and 20 women. They're partnering with the Board of Health and their program called the Pathways Hub that assists these women also with their medical care. So we anticipate really being able to structure a successful program for these women through birth and possibly, hopefully keep them safely housed after they give birth. One of the reasons why this occurs and why this is a big deal in Mahoning County, real quick, is Mahoning County is one of the highest across the nation in infant mortality rates, which started this program locally. So I'm just glad that we can finally find a funding source or revenue source to assist this program.
Anna, could I ask a question?
Yes.
Is this just for the housing at the Y? Because I know they have apartments.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So it spreads out?
Oh, yeah. This is a specific population that is, well, not the YWCA population. This is rental assist. This will provide these women with the rental assistance and utility assistance they need to feel secure and be stably housed.
This is perfect. Thank you.
Audrey, I thought we were gonna start with $5,000 max per, because this only helps 150 people. No, I thought we're going up to 10,000 right off the bat.
Yeah, it'll give you the ability to go that. Right now, you can, with 10,000, you can do 600 and something individuals, residential for that.
Out of 1.5 million?
Mhm.
Out of 1.5 million?
We got 6.8 million. She just wanted to
Right.
start with that.
Right.
And then basically, if you think about it, when you're helping somebody with a rental assistance, and you can only go backwards, so you can catch them up in the rental, and that's gonna help the mortgagers. And then you can go in 3 months ahead of time. So every 3 months, those people can go up. And a lot of people, then, because it has an income guideline and stuff like that, they're not gonna get to that number. So it gives a top and a bottom. So like when she did it before, I think very few of the people met that limit of what we had. So it's just really to open the door for everybody so that at least that
The
gets.
problem I have with the federal government on these programs is that they put a moratorium in place to not foreclose on people or evict them. But at the end of the moratorium, they just make them pay everything back that was backdated, which is unbelievable, not possible. You know, on the mortgage assistance, what should be done is they just tack the interest to the end of the loan and let them start from the time period that the moratorium ends. They should not have to pay any of the back dollars, because people, where are they gonna come up with that? I mean, okay, you didn't throw me out of my house, and I went 8 months without paying $1,000 a month in rent, and now all of a sudden, to keep in the house, you want me to give you 8,000? Where am I gonna get that?
Right. And that's what this does for those renters, because with a mortgage, you can put the mortgage on the back end of your mortgage. A renter can't do that. The landlord-
Well, my point being that shouldn't be what
A
these poor
requirement.
people need to use their money for. They should be able to use it for their own. I mean, they're in food lines,
Right.
you know, they shouldn't be giving it to a bank to
Right.
catch them up on a mortgage that makes billions a year. They shouldn't force the banks to tack the interest onto the end of the loan and start from day one when the moratorium ends. You know, and that's just my soapbox that
Well, it's the
I'm
same-
frustrated with, that they don't try to help us help people.
They, the thing with it too is, it's the same thing with the student loans. Because
That's a big
it's a
deal.
moratorium on
Right,
that, you know, and people are going through that period of time, but there's always that you're gonna end up hitting because it's just a moratorium.
And then the student loans, those are federal student loans,
Yes,
and they
yes.
never get cut out of their
No.
cash.
No. There's a lot of things, but
No, that's the truth.
it's
Hey,
providing.
what's in that cup?
Cares.
It's providing some kind of bridge and some kind of gap to help that. People
Right.
go at both ends of the spectrum of this, though.
Okay, I got you. No, I know we got 6.8 million, but I didn't know,
Yeah,
No.
it's just a get, because you get an end of the spectrum of people.
because obviously it's better to help more people with less each than help less people with more. you know,
Right now,
so
Catholic Charities had about 400 people
Wow.
that were
Waiting.
on their waiting list. They
Well,
kept
my
a
point
waiting list.
exactly, so we're only gonna help 150 initially. So,
Right,
if
but
they
we-
Not
take the
everybody
max.
will qualify for the 10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
will be distributed. Those that have had their past taken care of with the CARES Act money will only be looking forward 3 months, and so it kind of evens out. But one thing I did want to mention that obviously Commissioner had asked with the math is that the Catholic Charities Agreement has a not to exceed of the additional money, Audrey, up to the
Yes.
4.5.
The resolution provides authority, so we don't have to keep coming back to the board with the resolution to increase that 1.5 as they get more and more people coming, so we can keep funneling the money over to them.
Yes.
So it's not to exceed 10.
It's not to exceed the additional 4.5 million on top of the 1.5.
Gotcha.
I had a question for Ann. I don't know if you know this, but when the people request this, is it mainly through the internet? Is there a phone bank system set up? How do people request that they need rental assistance and utility help? How do they do it?
I would suggest that they call Catholic Charities. I'm not aware of any web portal or activity that they've established.
I think they hired a few more people to answer the phones.
Yeah, they did.
Because we asked them to do that for there wouldn't be a backlog, that they can move these things more expeditiously instead of making people wait, because, it's always a waiting game with money.
We did this grant, this money did allow a 10% admin.
Right.
And we did talk with Catholic Charities if there was a need for additional staffing, that those admin dollars are there available for that.
To do that.
To do it with hire someone. The other thing is this, part of that admin is also to help counsel individuals to keep them, to think what do they do next. So it's to provide that for them too. It also, landlords can also apply for this. So it's not only the residential person, but it's also the landlord. So you can have 3 residential properties that you're the landlord for. You, as a landlord, can apply that. If the landlord does not want to do that, then the resident can.
So there's a cross check on the landlord.
That's why we're dealing with
Okay.
Catholic Charities, because
Because
it'll
you
be
need
by
to have a
address
cross,
and
I
it'll
mean,
be a
not
cross
that our
check.
landlords are gonna do that, but there needs to be a cross check, so they.
Yes, there is. That's why they're property, and that's why we're dealing with one agency. That way people can't go from 2 different places.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Anything else? Anna, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, and D, Anna, you're up again. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Letter
Am I
D.
on mute? Am I muted? Not muted.
You or Audrey?
D.
Letter D.
Okay. Commissioners, this is a separate award of CARES Act funding that was distributed to the Community Corrections Association for improvements that they had submitted to the Department of Rehab and Corrections for direct reimbursement. And we're accepting those funds on their behalf, and we will transfer those over to them in the next check run.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheriff? Anybody? I can't. Yeah.
I can't.
Anybody here from the sheriff's office?
All yours, Anthony.
Anna, did you-
Okay,
Um,
Audrey.
it's a grant. Anna, do you want to handle that? It's a grant.
That's very interesting. I'm unaware of this application.
Oh.
It appears to be additional coronavirus funds. We applied in 2020 and received funds. It appears to be additional funds for the Office of Criminal Justice Services.
Okay.
I would think.
You good with that?
I could pull up the resolution. Oh, yeah. Let me pull up this real quick, if you don't mind.
No,
Not like we're not gonna approve
Right.
receiving it.
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
Let me just let you know here. Actually, I am aware of this grant. And it is for the Mahoning Valley Law Enforcement Task Force. And it is to improve, services through the task force for vehicle lease, confidential funds, assistance with the Mahoning County Health and Recovery Board, to hire a case manager for prisoners in the jail.
Oh, boy.
Thank you, Anna.
Sorry,
That was pretty
I
quick.
forgot about that. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, motion to approve resolutions.
Motion to approve resolution, number 2, motion to approve resolutions A through E.
Second,
Roll call.
Commissioner Ditzler?
yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. And for the good of the order, any elected officials or department heads would like to comment? No? Nobody?
Come on, Janetti, say something.
Audrey's on.
Janetti, you look like you got more hair. Did you go somewhere? Give me the name and number.
No, the lights are darker. You just can't see it.
Okay,
Can I say something?
I'm gonna have to turn the lights out here
If he
then.
has any updates.
Who, Audrey? Oh, yeah.
Don't smile, Jake. You need the number 2.
Oh, my God.
Audrey Morales? Audrey,
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
any updates for us?
Who said that? David?
It was Carol.
I'd like to thank you guys. I'd like to thank Jake. I'm glad that he's on. Audrey Tillis, George. Again, they moved very quickly to help us get phones. I cannot believe it. When I got on the phone with Jake, I said, I need these not within a week, in 24 hours. And Jake was able to help me pull that off. So I just can't thank him enough. And it has tremendously, Jake, I'm telling you, reduced our phone call wait. So you were a great asset, along with Audrey and your staff. And thank you to the county commissioners for doing this as well. We really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Audrey.
Audrey.
Okay.
Jake had those phones in the back trunk of his car the whole time. That's why they were so quick. He
I
was-
mean, I don't know, I can't believe when I said Jake, and Jake I heard him listening to me and I said, Jake, I need these phones like yesterday. And they moved on it. I've never seen, and I was promised by one of my staff members, if I could get the phones within 2 weeks, that they were gonna give me edible arrangements every day. And I got them within 24 hours. So it was.
Wow.
Wow, you're good. You must have the power of the power of the phone.
Hey,
Did you have your concealed carry showing when you asked Jake for the phones?
I don't know what Jake did, but he got it done. You have to ask Jake the magic power he worked, but we got it done. And I
Good
thank him.
deal.
Thank you, Audrey.
Good
Thank
deal,
you,
Audrey.
Audrey.
Thanks.
Appreciate the good job you're doing
Yep.
for us.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? No? Nobody from the health departments, Audrey, for any updates? We asked.
Unless they're on the phone. Is anyone from the health department on the phone? I know that they had clinics today. I know that Ryan said he had a big clinic today. They both accepted, but if they said if they could make it. So,
Okay. All right.
well,
Shay
that's-
McMillan?
Who's that?
Who's Shay? I see his name up there, but he's muted. Okay.
I can tell you who Shay McMillan is.
Oh, okay.
He works for the regional chamber. He does economic
Oh,
development for
Oh, okay.
Oh,
businesses and things.
thank you. Is he new? Was he?
Not real new, a couple of years, I think he's been.
Is
there a
he
couple
one of the
years.
guys that was here? the other day?
I think he was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we know Mike, so,
Well, do you want to speak or is he just?
yeah,
on
he's
to listen?
muted.
He always checks us to make sure if there's anything he kind
No,
of.
they,
No, I'm not
they're
talking-
muted themselves.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
they muted
Yeah,
themselves.
Yeah, they're,
I don't
they can
mean
hear
Mike.
everything.
I'm talking about.
What about
Shay.
that other number there with the phone on it?
Might just be somebody from the public.
Oh, okay. All right, well, if there's nobody else. Jimmy,
Not at this time.
Audrey? Anyone? Anthony?
Oh, Shay said his desktop does not have a mic. That's why he
Okay.
did not.
Tell him we wanted him, he was,
Okay.
he could have said something if he wanted to.
It doesn't have a mic, so you can't, you can't hear him.
All right,
He can hear us. We just can't hear him. He can't hear us.
all right, Carol or Dave?
No, I would just like to add that, I really want to compliment the Board of Health, both Youngstown and Mahoning County. The job they're doing with, last minute knowledge of when they're going to receive shots and vaccinations. I mean, the work that they're doing is, you just can't imagine, that you can't plan for these events that they're doing, because you never know from day to day how many shots you're going to receive to be able to administer. And Ryan at the County Board of Health, told me they could do up to 1,000 in a day through his setup that he has at the senior center in Austintown. It's right adjacent to the Board of Health. The job that he's been doing, the job Aaron Bishop has been doing at the Youngstown Board of Health, trying to combat the unknown. All of a sudden today you find out that Monday we're gonna give you 300 shots. So they've got to line up 300 people, get them called, scheduled, and ready to go through. And believe it or not, even the day that we had the big snowstorm, not a single person missed coming in. I think Ryan told me almost 500 that were distributed in one day, 400 and some. And everyone made it there and everyone got their vaccination.
Everybody's
So
scared.
the more shots we get, the more we give, the better. We're, planning for the future in Mahoning County. And I just want to compliment them on the job they're doing. One of the other things too is I already voiced my frustration on the federal government and helping people, because these people need the money and the subsidies that they're getting to help their families eat, to pay their utilities, to pay their car payment, to keep living, because at the end of the day, it's not about how much your 401k went up. It's about how much you're able to provide for people that have a need. Because, 90% of the world lives within 3 to 4 paychecks
Pay to pay.
of being in trouble if they lose their job or lose their ability to pay, their mortgage and their car payment and their food. You just can't imagine. We're trying to plan another food drive, but the last one we had less than a month ago, 1,500 cars, through the Cavelli Center. So there's still a need. Federal government has to address it. They want to cut it on how much they provide for people. They just have to identify the people that need it the most and get it to the people that need it the most. Not just arbitrarily mail checks out to people that have no loss in income, but mail it to people that are in a desperate situation. And there are a lot of those to take care of. So the other thing I wanted to make note of is you see a lot of things on Facebook, and I've gotten a lot of calls on people that don't take care of their animals. It's 8 degrees out this morning. You have a dog, there's no shelter, there's no dog house, there's nowhere for it to go in. I got numerous calls. The dog warden doesn't have the authority to go and to take a dog from someone's home that hasn't provided the minimum necessary survival for an animal. That goes through the
Subdivision,
oh my
the
gosh,
city.
Humane?
Humane Society, I'm sorry, thank you. That goes through the Humane Society. they have one agent, you know, at the Humane Society, and they're privately funded through donations. So they're going out trying to look at the situations, and their hands are tied because of the lack of laws from the state legislature and the lack of authority that gives them the ability to repossess someone's animal. I mean, when it's 8 degrees out, you know, your animal can be frozen to death within a night, you know, outside in these elements. So it behooves us all, you know, to be good stewards of your pets, and, you know, and right now especially, with the temperatures like they are, you know, we see, you know, a lot of abuse coming up, more so with the pandemic, for not only animals, children, everything, you know, because one of the things you don't realize is that the people that identify children that aren't being taken care of are the teachers in the schools, when they're sitting there with them on a day-to-day basis. They're the ones that see and respond, you know, so a lot of that stuff is going unnoticed. And, you know, we need to do as best job as we can possibly do for our children, our animals, and taking care of those less fortunate than us, so. Thank you.
That it?
That's all I have.
You know, Dave, to dovetail off of Dave before I get to Carol, in fact, with the dog warden's office, you know, like Dave Nelson, for an example, if he gets a call that there's dogs left outside in sub-zero weather, Dave gets in the car and drives over there and asks that homeowner, what's the matter? Why are these dogs don't have the proper shelter? So it's a good point you made up. Carol.
Well, I echo what my colleagues have said. We're all concerned about the children. I want to thank our staff for putting together a great package for the COVID money and the 6 million that we did receive. As Dave said, the money should be given also to the individuals that need it the most for food and things in that respect. But and there's always a way, you know, when they say, well, how do you track that? How could you track that? The same way you're tracking rentals, the same way you're tracking utilities, there's always something there to can help them do that, other than going to the food drives and trying to get a few bucks to get food or get your food at the food drive. So I think that there should be something looked at it in that respect as well. Look in on a senior that might be living near you, that might need some help through this pandemic, as well as this cold weather. They're all afraid to go out. If you know someone that's a neighbor or a family member, go try to help them to do that. Also, the animals, it's a sad situation when you, I always said, and I don't know if this is correct or not, when you look at somebody who mistreats an animal of any kind, that it is owned by that person, and they leave it outside in weather like this, I wonder how they treat their families. Because, you know, you don't look too far from that to see how are you treating your families. And if you can't take care of that animal, bring it to the dog pound or the dog shelter and give it to somebody that would actually take care of it. So just stay warm. We're not over the pandemic yet. And of course, I'm going to give you the same thing I do every week. Wear your mask. Stay social distance. We're not done with this yet until every individual gets that vaccine. So just be safe. Look at your surroundings. Be patient. You know, we all are getting a little cabin fever, and we just got a few more months. I always say a few more months. And with God's will, we'll all be able to be vaccinated by the beginning of summer. So take care, have a warm weekend, because it's going to be cold for the Super Bowl here. Thank you.
Okay, Carol, thank you. Thank you very much. And, you know, I never thought I'd miss hearing the sound of a lawnmower. So that would cure some cabin fever. But I agree with Dave and Carol. I'd like to mention a special lady, Audrey's daughter, Monica. She received an award, And she was recognized. I saw it on Facebook and I read it. And I'd like you to tell us about your daughter, Monica.
Oh, Kimberly.
Kimberly.
Kimberly is a education, she's a teacher and
Kent.
yeah, and for Kent City Schools, she's a middle school teacher,
Oh, cool.
6th grade. And she got recognized at Fox 8 News for teacher recognition. And she is a tenured teacher and she's been at it with the school and she started even with, at the beginning, she was down here with us and she'd go back and forth and she graduated from Kent State University. Very, very bright young lady, I mean,
Just like her father.
just like her father, looks like her father, just like her father. And we're very proud of her. I mean, she has the passion and the heart of a teacher. And her students, her student parents, everyone loves her. When she went some very adversity in her life, the school was right there for her, her principal, everyone. And she's put that right back into the school. She has that passion up there.
Good.
Yeah, she's a very good teacher. Very proud of her.
That's wonderful.
Thank you for,
Absolutely.
acknowledging that.
I
No.
just like I stated on the comments, fantastic runs in your family.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate
Good for
that.
you.
I mean, to know Audrey, if you would see her family, how beautiful her family is. I tell her that every time I see her. She's so blessed. She has such an extensive family, grandkids. I mean, she's just amazing, Audrey. So you're very lucky and you're very
You
blessed.
embarrassed me, but thank you.
That's okay. It's in a good way.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody? No? Nancy, our next meeting?
Next Thursday, right here.
Okay. With that, a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yep.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yep.
Yes.
Commissioner
Oh, my
Traficant?
Yes.
Did you say yes?
Thank you. Dave's gabbled out.
Oh, my
Definitely
goodness.
gabbled out.